Welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Your host, Jill Hart, the Coach's Alchemist. Couldn't be more excited to have you join us today. On this podcast, we celebrate the champions of change, the up-and-coming life, health and transformational coaches who are fearlessly stepping forward to make a difference in the world. Get ready for inspiring stories, practical tips, and powerful moments that will motivate you to make a positive change in your life and those around you. We're happy to have you join us on this incredible journey as we dive into the world of life, health, and transformational coaches who are lighting up the path towards a better tomorrow.
Hi, and welcome to the New World Order Showcase podcast. Today we have with us Jill Ogle, who is a transformational guide on a mission to completely disrupt the New Age community with a spiritual revolution and to build a community of heart warriors, people committed to deep transformational work that causes a ripple effect through the collective consciousness. She breaks through the fluff of mainstream spirituality to get to the heart of people's core issues, creating profound, life-lasting change, not only transforms lives, but also uplifts the collective. Welcome to the show, Jill. It's really great to have you with us.
Thanks, Jill. It's great to be here.
We were laughing before about both of us being named Jill and not knowing very many Jills.
It always feels weird to say thank you, Jill, or hi, Jill, like, because it just doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously it does, but it doesn't happen often.
Yeah, it started to happen more for me now than it did in the beginning when I was younger, but I love meeting other people. It means youthful, you know.
Does it? Yeah. Wow. I did look it up at one point. I'm shocked that I don't know that actually.
My name is Jill Ellen, which means youthful bright light.
Oh, beautiful.
I like it a lot. And all of my children, they were named specifically, and they've all grown into their names, which I find so fascinating how that works.
Yeah, I love that. I will be looking my name up as soon as we get off this call. Beautiful.
It'll just confirm for you what you already know. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I find, that tends to be with a lot of, like astrology and numerology and human design, all these things, like they're just great tools to sort of uncover the subconscious stuff, or the programming that we know is already there, just confirms it. But my dog's name's Ollie, and I did the numerology on it before I named him with the spelling.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember what the other way was, but the way I spelt it with OLLY meant God, and I was like, okay. And he thinks he's definitely taken on that.
I love dogs. They're just like add so much to our lives, and they kind of reflect back to us what we give to them too. You could tell who people are by the way their dogs behave.
Yeah, for sure. And they also reflect back our disowned parts, like just like children do, and other people do, but children as well, they do, they challenge you in those parts where you've not yet healed, and he certainly did that early on.
Yeah. I'm listening because I think that must be my husband. I heard dishes. For a moment there, I thought my dog was like getting into the cabinets. I have two. One I have to leave outside of the office because if I'm talking, he thinks I'm talking to him, and he needs to be right up here in my face. The other one, he'll just lay over there on the corner, so he gets to stay in the room.
Cute.
So Tell us your story. I know that you worked with Dr. Joe Dispenza at one point. Is that where your story began, or did it begin before that?
Oh my God, no. I mean, I could go back as far as you wanted. I mean, I know we've got limited time, but I guess I could just touch on a few points in my life. Like, I experienced molestation by a family member when I was little, attempted suicide when I was 13. Lots of other things went on, obviously, in between, good and, what I perceived as good and what I perceived as bad. Got divorced when I was 26, and then my dad died when I was 27. And I'm kind of skimming over those parts, just because my real awakening happened when my dad died. And although I was into sort of witchy poo kind of things when I was a teenager, like spells and, the supernatural, I really kind of had a tendency towards that. And, when I've done deep dives, I was actually sort of teaching universal principles and universal law, like when I was little, like just, yeah, and didn't even realize it. But when my dad, so I was sort of 12 months out of my husband leaving, and I found out that my dad had cancer. And at that moment, a woman who was a sales rep for a company that used to come into my store told me about The Secret. And so that was my first kind of big awakening. I watched The Secret a million times. I listened to it on my walks. I was just like fully immersed, right? I wanted to understand. I wanted to help my dad. I wanted to find a way to help him heal his situation. Now, anyone that knows anything about cancer, like pancreatic cancer, is like one of the quickest. So he'd had a lung transplant when I was 13, so his body was already kind of compromised. So, but I just was like, oh, just stay positive, and trying to get him to kind of take on this positive thinking shtick, and then that would heal him. And it wasn't until he died 9 months after diagnosis. And it wasn't until sort of, I guess, a couple of years later that I really realized that whole thing, it had nothing to do with healing him. Like, it was not about that at all. It was his gift to me for my awakening and to fully set me on this path. And, it was huge. It was huge when I had that realization. I think a lot of people can look at, so-called negative situations and just see that side of things. In the work that I do, that I've come to do, we look at situations and we look at them from both sides, because every situation does have another side to it. And it's not just about finding the silver lining and giving it lip service, but it's about really going in there and finding exactly the threads in the divine matrix of how this has helped you, how this has helped people around you. And, I don't know whether your listeners believe in soul contracts or not, but I do believe that was a soul contract to catapult me into this journey, because, had he survived, and, maybe I wouldn't have stuck with it. Maybe I would have said, this positive thinking is a load of crap back then, and given up. Now, I do believe that positive thinking is a load of crap now. I will preface that. Just to the point of it's become quite toxic. I think that a lot of people sort of try and just be positive all the time. And what I see happen is, people end up on this emotional roller coaster of highs and lows because, it's not sustainable. But anyway, so that kind of awakened me. I dived into all these other teachers. I saw Joe on What the Bleep in 2006, and didn't get involved at that point. Like I was still reading other people's books and work, and then some years later, I found a program of his on my computer, and so I started listening to that. I started listening to the meditations. I loved it. I shared with a friend. I was like, oh my God, check this out. And for a number of years, it was fantastic. We attended a retreat the year up, like the following year that we found this. It was December, I think. And in the next event that was available, I think it was like August the next year, or October. And we both attended that event and loved it. Had amazing meditations and, really had amazing experiences. And that was it. I was kind of hooked. So I attended another event and then applied to volunteer. And then on my second time volunteering, I was asked to become a team leader for Joe. And so basically what that means is that, I was traveling the world, attending events, co-facilitating events with Joe. I was the bridge between the community and him. And like it's a highly coveted position. So many people really want to be in that position. So many people want to be in that environment. And, I was so over the moon when I was chosen. You can't apply. You can't submit an application. You get chosen.
Yeah.
And so
really
it's kind
quite
of
an honor.
Yeah, it was quite an honor at the time. Like it was quite a big deal. And yeah, so that started to happen. I started to travel and attend retreats and help, I was facilitating and whatever else. But what I was noticing was that there was a lot of people kind of addicted to attending retreats. There's my little one in the background waddling along. There was a lot of people attending retreats, but there wasn't a lot of people transforming. And that was really surprising, because there's this kind of idea that everyone transforms, and like if you've got a serious cancer, you should just go and you'll be healed. And I mean, I don't want to kill anyone's hopes or dreams, but there's just more to the picture. There's more to the picture. And so the end of 2019, I left a retreat in Niagara Falls, and I was in New York with a girlfriend of mine, and we just had brunch and we'd sort of walked down to the New York skyline. And I got a phone call from my nephew, and my nephew said to me, they've found Dad's body and his girlfriend, and yeah, they're both dead. And as you can imagine, I had all these sort of thoughts going through my mind.
So this is your brother?
Yeah. Okay. So turns out that my brother had shot his girlfriend and then killed himself. And I mean, there's so much I could say about just that situation. You know, yes, he had mental health issues, but never in a million years did we think that he would do anything like that. But the point I want to make about that, without sort of just dismissing it, I don't, you know, is that was the second level of my awakening, or the next part in my awakening. There's been a million levels of awakening, but that was the next part of my awakening. Because in that moment, you know, I was like, oh my God, what about my nephews? Oh my God, I'm a murderous sister. Oh my God, what was going on for him that happened? Oh my God, my mom. And then I just had this kind of wave of unconditional love flow over me. And it occurred to me that's what was missing in Joe's work. That's what was missing in all of the positive thinking, you know, stuff that I'd been reading, was that it's not about getting rid of part of you. It's not about, you know, being this Pollyanna version of you. It's about loving you as you are. And in that moment, that's what happened. I just loved my brother. I just loved my brother, full stop. And you know, certainly not excusing what happened or anything like that. And it was, you know, such a gift for me at the same time, you know. And again, I know that this was another part, you know, another soul contract, because I was so engrossed in Joe's work. I was giving up my life to build his brand, to build his business. And you know, in that moment with my brother, like, he just completely kind of started to break that attachment, I guess. So I just knew that there was something missing out of Joe's work. And I just, you know, I just felt that there was just, you know, there's so many people trying to be positive all the time, so many people trying to get rid of these parts of themselves and just focus on the good and just focus on the elevated emotions and just focus on this one-sided reality. And I just knew it wasn't the truth. And so anyway, I came back to Australia and you know, dived deep into shadow work, and that kind of led me down a whole other path. You know, Carl Jung, and really understanding, you know, that to become whole is to become holy, and to become whole is to love all of you. And anything you try and get rid of, there's a resistance there. You're labeling it not okay, and so you're going to draw more of it to you. But when you love it, it integrates and it becomes part of the whole system, and it no longer needs to show up to, you know, trouble you, in air quotes, anymore. So that was kind of that. And then I still went to 2 retreats with Joe after that, and they, like, the first one in Dubai was the craziest retreat I've ever been to. Like, there was so much chaos. There was things going on behind the scenes that were just like, you know, other team leaders left and went home. It was really crazy. And then I went to one more, and then COVID hit, and Joe dismantled the team leader team at that point because there was no retreats happening. There was nothing happening out there. And said that, you know, we'd be invited back when the retreat started up again. But I was just at the point where I was like, there's no way that I'm going back. I didn't feel like it just wasn't my place anymore. It just wasn't my place anymore. I knew that there was a greater truth to what was happening out there in the world. There was a reason why people, only a small percentage of people were actually transforming. And, and it's because they don't have the whole truth about how our universe works, how to live in alignment with our universe. You can't escape the cosmic law framework, which is a set of universal principles. Like, you cannot escape that. So you've got to learn to live within that. And that's not a bad thing. It's just, once you know the rules, you can play by the rules, right? Like, you got to know the rules of life to play by them.
Win at them.
Exactly.
Yes.
And yeah, exactly. And yeah, so that's basically the gist. I was like, and then yeah, so I sort of headed off on my own journey. But it was at that point that I had a complete sort of physical breakdown as well. So after I left, I lost cognitive function. I couldn't remember my friends' names. I didn't know what I was doing from moment to moment. I really thought that I was going to end up in a nursing home. Actually, I was sat on the couch at one point thinking, oh my God, like, who am I? What is happening here? And so, I when I was sort of lucid, I did whatever I could to heal myself. And the biggest thing that helped was the realization of my attachment to my identity. And, that role as a team leader with Joe, even though I chose not to go back, I chose to leave that community, was still a big part of it. And so once I understood that, I started to heal, right? Because the body is always giving us feedback to what's going on in our mind. And so, yeah, obviously I'm cognitive now. And
good thing.
Yeah. So I've healed a lot. Over the last sort of 4 or 5 years. Like, I've had some chronic illness things going since I was about 12. And I've healed a lot of my physical ailments, my emotional stuff. It's all connected. And I truly believe it's because I got to the root of the issue. You can sit and meditate and envision your future, but if there's a message that your body's trying to give you with your physical symptom, and there is, you need to get that message. Because, maybe you're neglecting yourself. Maybe you're, putting everyone before you. And that's a common thing with breast cancer is people lose the ability to sort of self-nurture because they're all looking after everyone else. So so basically the reason I left, I mean, it's there's 100 reasons. And the big one for me was that I don't feel like it's the whole picture. And I really don't want people to, once they've found this work, I don't want them to struggle in this work. And when I say this work, I just mean the ability to heal their life, their ability to create whatever it is that they want in life. I want them to have the correct information and the correct tools and not need me, not be addicted to coming to my retreats or my programs because they're still seeking answers, but because, maybe come because they want to be there. But
They're bringing more positive energy for change instead of all of the energy that gathers around people that are broken.
Yeah, I think, there's a lot of spiritual bypassing that happens in a lot of these new age communities. And there is, there is a real, there is a real focus on the whole positive positive thing. But what people don't understand is we're all positive and we're all negative. Like we all have both sides. And I get it. There are some people that appear to be, you know, stuck in their stuff and inherently negative and things like this. But I like to look at life as, if you can move through life with a healthy optimism, you know shit's going to go wrong at times, and in terms of, you know, shit's not going to go the way that you want it to at times. And I should correct myself, because that doesn't mean it's wrong, right? Just because it's not going the way you want it to doesn't mean that it's wrong. You're always on the right track. It's
just not the
you
one
know,
you're expecting
exactly.
or
And
wanting.
so exactly. So what I teach people is I teach them to understand the feedback that they're getting from their environment, from the people around them, so that they can make change. Because, you know, what often happens is when you're trying to create your reality, like you'll set an intention and you hold that intention. Let's say it's a relationship, and, you know, you've got this outline of this man that you want. And then the universe will send you this man that has some of the things and then some other things that really, really annoy you. Now,
Like
the
trying to
tendency,
get AI to make you a picture. You know what it looks like in your head, but it keeps giving you stuff with weird pieces to it. Is
exactly.
this what
Don't
you
get it.
want? Is this what
Yeah,
you want?
yeah. These hands, really? um, yeah, totally. And people will throw that man away. Women will throw that man away and say, no, that's not him. He's terrible. He does this and he does that. But what they're missing is that man is divine. You are divine. That man has been brought to you to show you the parts of you that you've not yet owned, loved, and integrated. And you're not going to escape those patterns. So the quicker we can understand, okay, that thing that's pissing me off about that person is actually a part of me, then you can heal that part of you. You can transform that part of you. If you don't, you will go from man to man to man to man to man to man to man, and wonder why you're still single and wonder what's wrong with you. And you'll give up on the whole manifestation thing. It's not that. It's not that. It's not that you're doing it wrong. It's not that you're not capable. It's just that you're not understanding the messages that you're getting, and there's a few tweaks that need to be made for you to get that thing that you want, whatever it is. Insert dream life.
Or healing or any of those things.
Absolutely.
It's like if you're not getting the message, it's going to continue to bother you until you figure it out.
Yep. This is karma, right? This is karma. It's just going to, the pattern will repeat. And even if you get rid of that man and you set a boundary and you remove that man from your life, you'll meet someone at the supermarket, or, you know, your best friend will all of a sudden have a new friend that comes
Clients
into
are going to
the
show
circle.
up, and
Clients will show up.
like,
Absolutely.
it's going to get to you one way or the other. The universe has a message for you.
Exactly. And it's when you can understand the power of it, it's the divine calling the divine home, you know. It's the divine calling the divine home in you. You know, Ram Dass says we're all just walking each other home, and I believe that that's what that is. It's, if I trigger you, I'm showing you a part of you that wants to be loved. And I think that's just so freaking beautiful, you know, when you really understand the concept. It's so beautiful.
That we're all connected. No matter what, we are all one. We're all part of one collective. We might think that we're unique and individual, and to some extent we are, but we're never alone, because we don't actually even exist
Yeah.
in the physical. We're apparitions in a lot of
We're
ways.
projection. Yeah.
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 And when you can just be open to letting people be
Mm,
and having a relationship with them and seeing how the energy flows between you,
mm,
you don't have to stay with them. I mean,
mm,
molecules come together and break apart all the time.
mm. Yeah.
We're just
And
like that.
totally. And when you do the work that I teach, it's not even about like, okay, well, I feel okay to be in the same room with this person or whatever. No, you will get to a point where you will feel immense gratitude for that person, and doesn't mean that they're going to stay in your life, right? You'll have that immense gratitude for that person and for everything that's happened, similar to me with my brother and my dad. And yes, that person might leave because, right, you've gotten the message, you've gotten the healing that
Mhm.
you needed. If not, they will transform. If they're pissing you off and you love that part that's pissing you off, they will transform. They will absolutely transform because they're just trying to show you a part of you. So it's amazing work. And
And at the same time, you're showing them something also.
yeah, well,
It's never
they're
just
only
a one-way street.
no, like you're literally showing, like you're literally changing the way you see them. So they have to change. Like they are not that way. They are not, you know, um, always critical of you or super ignorant. They are that way because you're seeing them that way. And when you change the way you see things, the things you see change, right? The whole Wayne Dyer quote. Um, this is the thing. Like we're judging everything through our lenses, you know, through our
And we're
programming.
judge memories the same way. And memories create chemical responses in your body, which causes disease sometimes. And you have the power to change the past by purposefully remembering things the way you want them to be, where you would wish they'd been. And it doesn't matter if you're making it up, because everything, even the things that you think you remember to be true, they're not. They
Mm.
don't actually even exist anymore. And no two people remember anything the same anyway. So you may as well remember it in a way that benefits you and not in a way that's going to further cause you pain and disrupt your body.
Well, yeah, I kind of agree with that, and I kind of I want to go further with it because there's a law of polarity, right, which governs our universe, and which basically means like you can't have hot without cold, you can't have you know, evil without good, you can't have it. There's two sides to the same coin.
Mhm.
Every moment that we experience, automatically our brain labels it positive or negative based on past experiences, past
Mhm.
programming. Now, we're programmed primarily in the first sort of 7 to 10 years of life, but also in the womb and also through epigenetics. We can go back 13 generations of programming. So your perception of that person's smiling at me, oh, they're happy, or that person's smiling at me, oh, they're menacing, right? Same smile, but two people perceiving the, you know, total opposite feedback. What I do in my work is we actually go back to these events and we find the other side, because there's always two sides to any story. So we find the other side. We find how that event benefited you. We find out, you know, where you do the same actions, because we live in a holographic universe. We all have everything within us. We can sit there and say, I'm not like them. I'm not like that person. But if you're judging them, you are. If you're triggered by them, you are. And it goes for the golden side too, right? Like if you see something that you love in someone, you're absolutely that too, right? The intelligent, the beauty, the whatever. but when we go back to these moments in time that are triggering you, we get to see like the rest of the information, right, that's been blocked out by our perceptions. And instead of it being labeled like this is just negative and I'm just going to think positive about it, no, we actually get to see the truth of what happened beyond our perceptions and how it's actually helped us in our life, how it's served us. Because yeah, there's not a single thing that happens on the planet that is positive or negative. Everything has both sides. It has to. It's the law of the universe. That's yeah.
How energy works.
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
the on and the off. It's
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's you know, it's beyond sort of lip service. And you know, when we have these moments of realization in this work, you really do transcend space and time. So you do heal that little girl, that little boy, when you have these realizations of how your life actually is.
so how do you work with people? Do you work one-on-one? Do you work in groups? How does all that look?
Yeah, I do work one-on-one with people. I also have a membership that's just launched, which I'm spending more of my energy towards. I still love working one-on-one with people, and if you have something that's really challenging, that's definitely the way to do it. And you know, my membership community is just so beautiful. It's just launched about 6 weeks ago, and you know, the realizations that people are having just from changing the way they think about reality, just by understanding the cosmic law framework and how the universe works, is so beautiful to see. And you know, I'm very big on building community. Like, two loves of my life are this work and building community so far. And dog's okay too. Um, and yeah, I do. I love bringing people together. I love that community, that tribe kind of way of being. And, you know, and I love seeing the interactions between, you know, people in the community with each other. So it's really, it's really starting to come together quite beautifully. The next launch date is in January. I don't know when this episode's going to air, but people can just reach out to me via my website or Facebook and get them the details on that. But yeah, there's a lot of things happening 2025. There'll be retreats, the membership will continue, and more kind of community things will come up, workshops, etc. So yeah.
Very exciting. And I know that you have something that you'd like to give away to people, because I found it on your website. The
Yeah.
7 mistakes people make when trying to manifest anything.
Yeah, it's just a free little course that I created. It's just a few little kind of mindset shifts, I guess, of like, of course, like, you know, I need to do this, and you know, just little tweaks. It's a very short program. I think the videos are about 5 or 6 minutes each, roughly. But you'll have a lot of aha moments.
She do.
In it, yeah, for sure.
I did actually get it and went through it. It was very helpful.
Yeah. Also, if people are looking for their tribe, I would love to invite you to my Facebook community. It's called Awaken Conscious Creators. Yeah, plenty of free stuff in there, plenty of, you know, more insightful videos, etc. And I hope to see you at an event or, you know, in my membership.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
This has been a great chat, Jill. I really appreciate you coming on today. What's the one thing you hope the audience takes away from our conversation?
Yeah, the one thing I hope is that you understand that you are a powerful creator. You are a powerful creator, and you don't need to be positive all the time to create a magical life or to live a life you love. And that, in fact, magic happens when you love the negative part of you. Go into the dark, find yourself there, and free yourself of all of the things that you don't like about yourself. But yeah, just that you are a powerful creator, you are the divine. And just remember that every time you have a communication with someone that upsets you, you're communicating with the divine. So yeah.
That was powerful.
Mm.
Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me on, Jill. It's been an absolute pleasure. Yeah.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another empowering episode of the You World Order Showcase podcast. We hope you've enjoyed hearing from our incredible life, health, and transformational coaches who are making a profound impact on the world. Remember, change begins with you, and you have the power to transform your life and the lives of others. If you want to take that next step and unlock your true potential, visit thecoachesalchemist.com, where you can find the 3 ways we can help you for free to spin your talent into gold with clarity, a system, and a plan. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an inspiring episode. And if you enjoyed today's show, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback means the world to us and helps us reach more people with our positive message. Stay connected with us on social media for updates, behind-the-scenes content, and upcoming guest announcements. You can find us on Facebook at the You World Order, or simply visit thecoachesalchemist.com.